Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 30th of March to the 5th of April 2015. Now, as opposed to last week where there was a lot going on under the surface but not a lot of change going on at the surface level, we're now looking at a week where there's quite a few chops and changes going on. So first of all, we have the clocks changing. At least in the UK, we've put the clocks forward by an hour. And I've posted a link on my Facebook page as to the true origins of this, because we're always told that it's something to do with farming or getting children to school safely, and there's some kind of rationale that goes around to actually connect with this mass compliance, really, everybody agreeing that time can somehow change, and yet this not actually applying to the whole world. So it can't be that easy for global trade and that necessary when some people do it and some people don't. And I believe there's even a state in America where one state doesn't change their clocks and all the ones around do. So we've got this weird connection with time and consciousness, which is quite appropriate because with Saturn going retrograde in Sagittarius, we're exploring our inner relationship to time and structure. So just have a look at that for yourself, unbiased, and have a look at the concept of putting clocks forward and backwards. Is it really necessary? What are the benefits? What are the losses? And how you feel about it, because it's a very strange thing that we do. It's not even balanced across the year. It's not kind of two specific dates that tie up looking across the zodiac year. It's just a date that's chosen when we decide to put the clocks forward, and then that affects our consciousness. So it's a really good study to see the difference of how you feel and your relationship to light and dark as well. So a very odd one. We start the week an hour forwards, I guess, and how does that make us feel? Is that really necessary? Is that something that we're doing as a group that could easily be let go of now? So make your own mind up on that one. Now we come to Tuesday and we have Mercury in Aries. So Mercury moves into Aries. It's a very fresh, bright, sparky, creative energy. It's lighting the touch paper and standing back. Lots of vision, lots of courage, and lots of forward direction finally coming in. We've had so much cleansing and clearing in the first quarter of the year, but now we're over the spring equinox and it's time to actually put our passion and our energy and our mind to something worthwhile. And on the 8th of April, next week, we'll see Mercury make a connection with Uranus. Mercury being the processing mind, Uranus being the higher mind, or the inner mind, or the wiser mind. We're going to get some flashes of brilliance come through during this transit. So it's not very long, it's only a couple of weeks. But whatever we do want to start now, then this is a really good time to put our energy into something creative, new, and visionary. On the same day, although Mercury is coming into Aries, Mars is leaving Aries for another 2 years and going into Taurus. So one door opens, another one closes. So Mars in Taurus, well, Mars is our soul direction, our energy directed, our passion, our dynamism. So going into that slower, more earthy energy of Taurus, which is very much in the heart center, then we're looking at directing that passion from somewhere meaningful. So all the bright, creative, innovative ideas that come in with Mercury in Aries can then be taken to the heart and directed for something physical, something valuable, and something long-lasting, productive and meaningful with that Mars in Taurus. And that will be for a good few weeks. It's around 6 to 8 weeks normally that Mars spends in a sign if it's not retrograding. So it's a 2-year cycle for Mars. Let's get involved, let's roll our sleeves up, let's actually have a look at how we use our daily energy. Is it heart-centered? Is it productive? Is it creating something of worth? We can also look at what we're producing from the heart, because our emotions are frequencies. So when we insist on staying in the low emotions, and that could be responsibility, obligation, guilt, shame, fear, then we're transmitting a very low wavelength. But when we actually choose joy, gratitude, abundance, and to actually live in those higher realms, then we're actually reaching further. The wavelengths are higher and reaching further. So where is our energy actually from the heart center? Where's it reaching out? What are you contributing to with your frequency? And once we start to acknowledge this and apply it in our lives, can we even afford to have those lower thought forms on a constant level. Now, there's nothing wrong with going in and exploring any lows, because that's what we're here to do, to figure ourselves out, but it's dwelling in them, it's repeating them, it's going round and round in circles, creating a sob story, creating a victim stance, and a paradigm that just keeps you in those lower waters. So once we've gone in and explored anything that's fearful or guilt or shame or any of those low frequencies, it's time to actually say, well, what did I want to learn from this? Let me take the seed of knowledge and move on without dragging all the baggage forwards. So with Mars in Taurus, we've got a chance to actually freshen up our transmitter from the heart centre, and with that kind of Reiki energy being sent out, then what field are we contributing to? And we are very much the controller. That's the one part of our lives that we do control. So the current paradigm has us believing that we're controlling our lives through thoughts and actions. We're creating our future. That's what we don't control unless we're very, very mindful. We put our thoughts and actions out there, but we're not in complete control of what comes back and when. But we are in control of what we're transmitting, what we're choosing to feel, the lesson that we're learning, and how we're then applying and adapting and becoming and manifesting from that heart space is very much where we're in a bit more control, because whatever frequency you're transmitting, that's what you can modulate and attract back on. So have a look this week. Is it your mind, is it your actions, or is it the emotional frequency that you're transmitting that's actually bringing back to you your experiences and opportunities and challenges in life? So really good study there, very profound. This is applied astrology. It's not just some concept of, oh, I can't help what the weather's going to be doing on Wednesday, I better get through the day, or that the planets are having a go at me. It's very much how we can take this inner universe or this inner solar system of our mind and our heart and our life force energy, and we can actually apply that to create and manifest in the outside world. So a really lovely study there for us in the beginning of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Lots of energy, the mind and the heart both moving into new signs, and we can kind of feel that climatic difference as it comes along. So by the time we get to Friday, we've got a very good opportunity to be that transmission and to send out even further as Jupiter meets with the Sun, both in fire signs, a very harmonic, golden and fortunate aspect. So once we've studied our inner transmitter, can we send those dreams and those vibrations and those aspirations and those inspirations out even further? So Friday says, whatever you're transmitting, whatever you're hoping for, whatever you're creating, try doubling it, try actually upping your amplification on Friday and see what comes back to you, because it's a beautiful combination of Jupiter and the Sun, both in fire signs there. So a radiance, a glory, a magnificence. We've got all the audacity now, we've cleared the channels, we've got to grips with our mind and our hearts, we've got everything in alignment, so why not stand in a pure space and just practice that transmission and amplify it and see what you can create on Friday. Then by the time we get to the weekend, we've got the full moon in Libra, which is our total lunar eclipse. So we've just had the solar eclipse, this is the lunar eclipse that's coming in, and this creates a pair, so every 6 months we'll have a solar and a lunar eclipse. They're fairly regular, but this is a total, so some people will be able to see it depending on where you are around the world. And when we're working with the full moon, we need to go back 6 months to see what we began at the new moon. So we're going back to September, October time. If you've got a lunar calendar, you can look back to last year and find the Libra new moon around the autumn equinox time, and just muse upon what were you starting there, what intentions were you setting, because this is what's going to come to fullness. So the full moon is reflecting the sun's light back to earth. It's a time of calm and reflection, as things can come up from the inside and be reflected back to us from the outside, as within so without. This is how esoteric astrology works. The planets on the outside are representatives of what's actually going on the inside. So have a look at what comes up, what's reflected back to you, and it's probably part of a story that began around the autumn equinox with the Libra new moon last year. Now, full moons and all of these astrological aspects will affect us all differently. So although they've got the same theme, it depends where it falls in your chart, because everybody's chart is aligned at different angles. So in general, Libra brings up our passive aggressive, Libra Aries is passive aggressive, or our masculine and feminine, because with the sun in Aries that's ruled by Mars and the moon in Libra ruled by Venus, we've got the two archetypes of the masculine and feminine there, and it being equinox time, all about the balance of light and dark, inner and outer, masculine and feminine. So in general, this time of year is very much working across that axis, the equinoxes, Mars and Venus, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, dynamic and receptive. Those are up for calibration. But like I say, have a look where Libra is in your chart, because that will fall in a different place to your friends and family, and see if you can tune in and find what part of your life is actually up for more precise calibration. So this is what we get when we have a chart reading. We get to find the orientation of our chart, and we get to work with those cycles more precisely rather than in a one-size-fits-all way. So I do have a Lunar Planner module. It's £30. It's a video and notes that you can follow along with, so you can learn how to actually work with each moon phase personally. You'll learn how to draw up charts, you'll learn the qualities of all the different signs, and even some of the herbs and crystals that you can work with, and how to apply that to yourself specifically. So that is one of the modules that I really recommend that you take on. It's very good value for money, it's very easy to follow, and I do provide email access for if you have any questions. But that means that you can literally take every year, every moon cycle, and actually work with it on a more personal level, which is what your ancestors would have naturally been able to do. And bearing in mind that we're in the week where we're slightly out of consciousness with the time change, this is a good time to actually jettison some of the old calendar anyway and get back into the solar lunar calendar, which keeps you constantly in a natural spiral and doesn't go jumping backwards and forwards according to some farmers' timetables up north. So it's a bit of a bookend week, clocks changing on the first weekend, and then the full moon total lunar eclipse on the second weekend of this week, and in between we've got Mercury into Aries, Mars into Taurus, and then a very good harmonic day on Friday to practice transmitting that energy from a place of sovereignty and see what comes back. So all told, a very exciting week, lots to be done, lots to play with, lots to take into your area of responsibility and actually start working with. We can apply astrology now. It's a great time of year just to get connected with astrology as the sun goes through the first sign of Aries. So I will leave it there. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. If you would like to come through to me for a reading, especially a forecast for the year ahead, or maybe a relationships reading at this time of year, or even to have a look at those lunar cycles in more detail, then I am available on Skype all across the world. It's really, really easy. You can have a half session or a full session depending on your budget and your time scale. So please do email me if you're interested in learning any of this at your own pace, at your own time. I'm available zoehines7@gmail.com, and all we need is your date, time, city, country of birth. Don't worry if you don't know the time, there's still something can be done with that. We arrange a time to meet, and I record for you as well and send you the recording at the end so you can listen back, so it can carry on growing with you, and you can revise and retune yourself to your own natural calendar and soul plan. So drop me an email if you're interested in exploring further, zoehines7@gmail.com. For anyone that's in London, I will also be running a workshop on Friday at the Light Centre in Moorgate regarding balancing the masculine and feminine and creating harmonic relationships. So please do check the links below and contact the centre directly if you'd be interested in coming along to that.